Okay, so it's April 2019, 1 month after we finished up the run for the Spelling Bee musical. And it's at this local university, and this university has this really cool program where they get somebody famous in the theater arts to come and kind of be a mentor. So this year they got Taye Diggs. And, so you can, I'm not going to go into his resume, but you can read up about him online. He's, very extensive theater, film, and television resume. He also wrote some children's books. So, very prolific and talented guy. And here he is, right here at this local university, mentoring all the students. So this was in April. It's kind of the end of the school year. So they were putting on this one final performance. It's actually called Behind the Curtain, a performance workshop with Taye Diggs. And that's exactly what it was, a performance workshop. So the performance part being, it's on stage, it's in the theater, in front of an audience. And the audience in this case are, I think, mostly the parents of the students, some school faculty, and maybe some, local VIPs or something. But it was a private event. There weren't any tickets for this. So that's the performance aspect. And then the workshop aspect was that he had all the various departments of the school up on the stage, and each would do kind of a little performance at a time, and he would kind of direct them on stage in real time and kind of on the fly sort of improvised instruction. None of it was planned. We did have worked out in advance, specific pieces that people were going to perform, so they weren't just up there winging it totally. But he would be instructing the students and getting feedback, and then even taking some feedback from the audience. So it's very interesting. And so that's the performance workshop with Taye Diggs. Okay, so this is actually during rehearsal, as the previous picture also was rehearsal. You can see, so this is the director of theater at the university, and here's Taye. So they were working in conjunction to put on this performance workshop. So we've got dancers. This is a jazz ensemble, and these are all students up here. And this is the chamber chorus. And then I believe these are some of the actors. So they had all of these various groups of the theater and performance, the music departments, basically the creative people, all together on stage. And when it was like the theater person's time to perform, everybody was still on stage, just, sitting quietly and just kind of watching. But kind of like, if you were in a workshop or in a class, everybody was just sitting there, and it was really interesting. And then down here, this is the pit orchestra. We're not the students, so it wasn't very interesting. So that's why we're kind of hidden. But, so Taye had picked out some songs for us to learn from other musicals. We did do one song from the Spelling Bee, so, that was already familiar. We had just finished that just a few weeks prior. And then a few other songs from different musicals that I'd actually never played before, but they were simple enough. It was really, really interesting. I've never done anything like this before or since, and it was cool. It was just kind of neat to see the whole thing. So one of the cool things for me that was a first is I'd never played in a pit before, an actual pit. And so this university was really awesome, and they had like all these, tunnels that led to the pit from the backstage. So you can see we were backstage. Now we're going kind of under the stage. It's like a 1960s coffee machine and refrigerator. But it's cool. Like we're right under the stage right now, and like storage and extra seats. And this is the pit. And there's my cool drum setup. But it's awesome, and it raises and lowers too, so really cool. All right, so here is video of the entire pit being lowered. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. So the entire pit is like this massive elevator, and it goes slowly down. And yeah, that was awesome. I can't believe that they had that at a university. I guess quite a budget at that place. Okay, so as far as my drum setup for this gig, it was very similar to Spelling Bee. You know, I've got the keyboard and the same drums, and because we were playing that one Spelling Bee song, and the other three songs were very basic, although they did have woodblock and like orchestra bells, so you can see the woodblock here. So the other thing that I changed, I moved the keyboard. It used to be way over there, and when it's so far over there, it's a lot harder to play. So by moving it more towards my center, it's more like playing a real piano. So I did that. I knew I wasn't going to be visible to the audience. You know, it kind of looks weird, but so physical appearance wasn't really a consideration. I just wanted it to be functional. So I did that, and I just needed like 2 toms and a couple of cymbals, and very basic, and it worked out great. Now, going with my tradition of buying a small percussion item for each show, I did end up buying some finger cymbals. And because in this particular song for Spelling Bee, the finger cymbals were actually in there. And when I did it earlier in the actual Spelling Bee performances, I used a triangle, and it's not quite the same sound. Similar, but gives a different sort of feeling with the finger cymbals. And actually, you can hear the finger cymbals in the credits music for this video and all my others, and in a forthcoming drum solo video. Also, I play the finger cymbals. And it's a cool sound. It's kind of like a Middle Eastern, Turkish sort of thing, like going way back hundreds of years, like belly dancing. And it's a cool sound, and it goes really well with that particular song. So it was nice to actually put the finger cymbals in there for that performance. Now, this kit setup I actually end up using in Hair Supply, a band that I play in, because we didn't have a keyboard player at the time, and so I thought, well, I'll play keyboards when I can. And so I remembered back to a couple years prior and this setup that I did, and it worked out great. So I did it in a live Hair Supply performance. I've got a link to that very brief video here. But it's cool. It's just kind of different and unique, and maybe catches people's attention. And it's just fun to mix things up. You play the drums, like there's a traditional way to set up drums, and you get kind of tired of that, and so this is not traditional. Although it's got some traditional elements, but it was fun. It was fun to do something totally different, and it was fun to do it again with Hair Supply. That was cool. All right, so the performance went really well. It was very interesting, and the audience loved it. And then afterwards, we had a reception, small party, and I got to hang out just a little bit with Taye. I don't get star-stricken. I don't go, oh boy, he's just a guy. We're all just people, and so and I like to relate to people just as other people, and so. We just chatted about stuff. I actually, because I know he does, both theater and film and music and stuff, and I do too. I mean, certainly I haven't had the level of success that he has. But I felt like, we had that in common, and I told him, like the day before, I'd actually shot a commercial for Google where I was, the principal, the main person in this commercial. And I'll probably do a video about that in the future. But, so I was feeling good about myself and, what I've accomplished. And I just kind of hung out with him and, we talked about that kind of stuff. And, I just kept it brief. There are other people that were trying to, chat with him. But, we got along great. Very nice guy. I mean, super genuine. There was none of the star, superstar kind of rock star attitude. None of that. Just a really cool guy. I felt like I could connect to, just, no phoniness, really just an authentic, really cool guy, just like a guy I could hang out with, And so it was great. It was a great little party. I didn't hog up his time. I, took a couple of pictures. He remarked about my phone, which was kind of funny. Just like regular people do. He's like, "Oh, what kind of phone is that?" Which it was actually kind of new too. So I'm like, I didn't even know how to use it really. So this picture's not all that great, but doesn't matter. It was cool. I got the picture. It was just fun to hang out with Taye. What the hell? It was a great night, great performance, very interesting, and just all around cool experience. So loved it.